Before the break, I teased that Chief Justice John Roberts doesn't think that the dissents are, in his words, wholly proportionate to what the court ruled today. And I think that the conversation we've been having today, he'd probably disagree with as well. He says, as for the dissents, they strike a tone of chilling doom that is wholly disproportionate to what the court actually does today. Sotomayor had a very chilling dissent where she said she worries about the fate of democracy.
The chief is mad at the dissenters because he would have loved a unanimous decision. He was concerned that a 6-3 decision with the conservatives in the majority and the moderate justices in dissent would look political. We have a 6-3 decision, and it looks political. The lower courts referred to Trump as citizen Trump, making the point that a former president has no special rights. In her dissent, Justice Sotomayor says, now we need to talk about King Trump. She says this decision ultimately creates absolute immunity, and for 3 reasons, which I'll quickly explain. She says, first, the court talks about core constitutional responsibilities for which the president enjoys absolute immunity. She asks, why is the court talking about core constitutional responsibilities in this case? The indictment doesn't allege anything that implicates core constitutional responsibilities. Then she says, insofar as there's expansive immunity for all official acts, and that use of any official act for any purpose, no matter how corrupt, now the president is immune for that. She says that's as bad as it sounds. Yeah. And the third reason she thinks that this opinion gives absolute immunity to the president, no matter what it says, is that evidence of official acts can't be used for any criminal purpose. It's almost like she's creating, she's saying the court's creating new rules of evidence that bar what everybody would say is relevant and the jury should know about it. Now a jury isn't even going to be allowed to know about things like Trump's communications with the Justice Department because that's an official act.
I would just note, Katie, that we saw that the adverb respectfully was omitted from the appropriately scathing dissents of Justices Sotomayor and Justice Jackson. You normally will see this kind of deference afforded to colleagues on that bench, and they made it very clear today that they do not respectfully dissent with what was created. They've effectively noted in their dissents they have created for the office of the presidency a God Save the King energy now moving forward. And a lot of us predicted this remand back with a protocol or structure of this analysis, and yet Paul and I were talking during the break. There's an emphasis within the majority opinion of how context is important for the consideration of what constitutes an official or unofficial act. And yet how can you have context if you can't consider motive? How can you have context if you can't consider these, quote, official acts in the whole kind of scheme of what happened? And I think that's particularly problematic.
It does sound like they're creating a special category for Donald Trump, a special category that hasn't
existed. A carve-out for him.
A carve-out that if you look at the historical record, Sotomayor argues, never existed until today. And I'll read a little bit more from her dissent because she, we always hear about conservatives citing the Federalist Papers and citing historical context, and this is an originalist court. They're going to take an originalist view of things. Well, she cites the Federalist Papers for her purpose. She says the historical evidence that exists on presidential immunity from criminal prosecution cuts decisively against it. For instance, Alexander Hamilton wrote that former presidents would be, quote, liable to prosecution and punishment in the ordinary course of law. That's Federalist Paper number 69, page 452, if you have one of them at home. For Hamilton, that was an important distinction between the King of Great Britain, who is sacred and inviolable, and the President of the United States, who would be amenable to personal punishment and disgrace. I mean, if you're going to say that you believe in historical precedent, how much clearer does it get than Alexander Hamilton saying liable to prosecution and punishment in the ordinary course of law? We fought a revolutionary war to break free from the kingdom of England and the absolute rule of a king or a queen to make our own democracy, one in which everybody is treated the same, equally, obviously not great for a long time, but equally, in theory, under the law. History only matters when it serves their ends. That's what it seems to me. What I read from this, not as a technical person, as a lawyer or anything, I read that now the imperial presidency is now made concrete. It's not about who's in office. It's not about their temperament. It's not about their disposition. The imperial presidency is now concretely here.
And so just for me, just as historically, Katie, what would it mean now? What would it mean for Nixon to have lived under this ruling? Would we have even had Watergate is a question. And it's from there. Donald Trump has always had around him those who were supportive of him and those who were supportive of the imperial presidency. And that line blurred over and over again. You saw it clearly with Bill Barr. Now the imperial presidency is instantiated along with an imperial court given Chevron decision. Here we are.
It does put a lot of burden onto the voters to elect somebody who has good judgment, who has good, just judgment and won't try to take this ruling and use it to their own advantage and then allow the courts on a case-by-case basis to decide whether that was taking it too far.
It puts the onus on voters in a way that voters have never understood they needed to worry about. And that goes back to everyone's point at this table. But this is the same extremist court. Just like we fought a revolutionary war, we also fought a civil war. And it has completely eroded also in ways that I would argue have not been consistent with its own precedent. Voting rights. It's actually made it harder for voters to vote. At the same time, it's conferred protections on a president who had a former president, Citizen Trump, who has said he will abuse the powers of office for his own person as a campaign platform and saying to his voters, but you'll be fine because I will be your retribution. It's voters that look like Eddie and Katie, you, and I mean, for all of us, who he's really saying, but I'm not going to serve the whole country. I'm only going to serve my base.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.